So I've got 3 different kinds of geraniums growing in the garden. Down here in my garden border, this is a variety called Anne Folkard, and these are now dying back, and they'll come back every year. Very hardy, I don't need to do anything with them, so I don't need to worry about these ones. So these red flowers are the Pelargonium variety, sometimes known as ivy leaf geraniums, and these will tolerate some cold in winter, but a north leads winter will kill them off, so they need to either be left to die or to come indoors. And these are the common type of geranium, possibly Pelargonium also. I'm no expert, but these are the ones that you commonly see dotted around the Mediterranean. And these won't tolerate any cold in winter. In fact, they're already starting to turn a little bit yellow in places, so I need to get these indoors now if I want to save them. So first of all, I want to find the pots that I can use to put them in to bring them indoors. I tend to use the pots which have had something else in which has died off already, such as these 2. I could use that one, but it has a purple sprout growing, so I'll leave that in case it does anything over winter. So I'm just clearing some of the rubbish out of some of the pots. See, it's got all these weeds growing in there. And one thing to do when you're bringing pots indoors in winter, which people forget to do, is to look underneath them in case you've got slugs and snails, because the one thing you don't want in the house is snail trails. So I'm just breaking the soil up. Oh, and here we have a garlic bulb. Little surprise. I'll take that one in and dry that out. That must have been growing, and I've picked the... oh, there's another one. Or it's died back and I haven't noticed. Oh, this is a little find. Oh, and there's a third one. Oh, there we go. 3 garlic bulbs. So they must have died back and I hadn't noticed. I had that many growing. I do tend to forget sometimes. So that's now broken up nicely. No such treasure in this one. So I've got some pots together. So now it's time to find some geraniums. So I'll start with the ivy leaf, and I'm just going to see if I can lift them without destroying them. Ah, yes. There we go. That's kept its integrity nicely. So I'll put that in the bucket. Okay, I'm going to give these a trim and tidy them up now. So these can tolerate quite a good trim. I'm going to cut them almost right back. They'll send out new growth very easily. That's it. I'll leave that one. So it just makes it a little bit tidier and easier to work with. Okay, that's one. So I've dug some of the soil out of this pot. I'm now going to put this one in there, and I can squeeze another one next to it, and they'll be fine together. So I've got 2 of them in one pot just here. I've put some pebbles around it. That's going to go in there, and that's going to be hung on an indoor basket. And I've kept the level lower than the top of the pot, so when it's watered it doesn't flood over the top. So I can't rescue all of them, and there are some white ones here which are quite nice, but I do have some more white ones I can rescue. I'm going to leave these in this basket because it's a south facing wall, and if we don't have a harsh winter there's a slim chance that the white ones might survive. So I've got another hanging basket here, and I am going to try and rescue some of these ones. And I'm going to begin by just cutting back all the dead bits and all the flowering heads at the minute to stimulate regrowth. That's a take off from Leeds Bradford Airport. as before, I'm just going to trim these back a little bit more, get the dead bits off. One of the great things about geraniums is that they're really easy to propagate. So if I cut this, for example, here, like so, at an angle, like that. Okay, I'm going to trim the flowering head off. I'm going to trim the bottom leaves off. And if I put that in some compost, that will grow and that will become a whole new geranium plant. So that's an easy one. So all I've got to do, make a little hole, in it goes, bed it in, and then I'll just put some gravel around the top. So I've got a very small geranium in here, and I've even added a begonia, which I'll take in because that will definitely not survive the winter. So this one looks like it's going to lift out nicely. There we go. So now I'm going to repeat the process with these I've rescued from round the front, and I've even rescued a couple of begonias as well because I'm a big softie. So I'm just going to finish these off with a dusting of 10mm gravel. It just tidies it up a little bit. Looks nicer. Okay, a few more to do. So I've checked underneath this one for bugs and there aren't any, but one thing to do is to run your finger when you've got one with a lip underneath, not for the squeamish, because there's sometimes slugs and snails. It's actually clean, this one, which is good, but you don't want to be bringing slugs and snails into your house if you can help it. So there we have the end result. Geraniums, pelargoniums, whatever they are, and a couple of begonias for good measure, and I've even got a little loop in down there. I doubt that will do anything, but if they're indoors in the conservatory, they've got a better chance of surviving the winter. Well, I think that hand is the sign of a good hour's graft. I'm ready for another cup of tea. See you later, folks.